Good morning, fellow Longhorns. Texas Homer Coach Dub, Eric Naleen. We're here on the Morning Live, and we're going to discuss, guess what? Transfer portal. You guys love it. And this is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. What we don't discuss on the show, because we only have an hour, and the site is 24 hours a day. Head over there, Inside Texas, 50% off transfer portal. You guys are locked in. All the news and notes that we're following during this fun time of year. Ultimate Fan Bundle, Inside Texas on 3 Rivals, together forever. Hey guys, fun weekend on the board. How's that going?
It's going fine with me. I mean, I'm used to this. This is just it's another bite of the June, July recruiting apple. Everybody, a lot of people freak out, and then some people kind of yay, more vagueness. A lot of people are upset. So it just boils down to a lot of stuff I always say is that a lot of people that follow recruiting the most understand it the least. And I think that's because a lot of people follow it for the emotional reasons of trying to get the dopamine hit of the next commitment.
It is fun.
There are people out there that care about recruiting more than they care about the actual wins on the field. They want the wins on the field because it helps recruiting. And so those people tend to be more emotional than you got the people that are looking at it from the general management's aspect, which is what I tend to do. And then there's the big tension between the two personality types. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Well, I'll roll with the fans. I mean, I wanted more to happen this weekend. There's no question.
Well, everybody wants more to happen, but I
want to steel man them a little bit. That it would have been more enjoyable if some things happened this weekend.
But it would be more enjoyable from the general management perspective too. You don't think Texas would have liked to have a couple people locked up? I mean, obviously they got one big commitment. The special teams, that's just checking boxes. Some fans seem to think they don't even want special teams next year. They can't understand why you would take special teamers.
I didn't get that one. I get, well, they're saying we want Cam Coleman, we're getting special teams, but it's like, guys, you win and lose games with these guys. So it's like, I get being upset that you didn't get a big name. Sure, that's fine. But it's like, guys, you need special teamers, and I'm glad that we were able to secure it. That's an important part of the team. So we don't have
that sort of ties in that ties into the overall thing is where those guys are easy to get. Texas is after guys that are harder to get. It's the same as high school recruiting. When they're after 5 stars, they're not easy, and when they have to go get Tyler Atkinson, they go get Tyler Atkinson. When they have to go get Derek Cooper, they go get Derek Cooper and Jonah Williams and Justice Terry and all these other guys. And so, special teamers are easier to get. The guys that they're after, I mean, they had 2 Michigan guys online on campus that would fix their right side in about 5 minutes. Obviously, those guys are going to be in demand. Michigan's trying to keep them. It's not easy to get them over the line. Isaac Brown was going in. He's a very good player. Louisville kept him. And so that's what happens when you go after the top talents. A lot of those guys have multiple years of eligibility. That makes them more attractive to keep, more important to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Could they have gone and got Nick Marsh like Indiana? Of course they could have. Could they, if they needed Josh Hoover at quarterback, they would have Josh Hoover. Everybody's, patting Signetti on the back, and he's doing a great job. I mean, those are fantastic gets for Indiana, but this is not the same market that Texas is in.
I was going to say the same thing. When it comes to recruiting, I think some people want the instant so they can go on social media or whatever, coffee break, so they can brag about it. But how does it affect you, the team, long term, right? Like, I'm trying to win games. And when start of August all the way to December, right? So I need to fill those roster needs. I don't mind special teams. Have you looked at the past 2 years? Like, we've gotten beat on special teams a few times. So, yes, so go ahead and secure that stuff. But at the same time, I know everybody's excited. It's like waking up on Christmas morning and I got 1 or 2 players. I understand that. But you look at it long term, they're actively trying to get guys, right? Trying to correct mistakes that maybe, happened last offseason. So they're being aggressive. They're trying. But like I say, give it some time. It's day 4 of recruiting, right? Like I said on the board, man, look, we can go to Ace Hardware or wherever else, Tractor Supply, and get pitchforks on day 8 if nothing happens. I'll be there with you.
Well, I was telling Coach before that a couple things. So like with Louisville, right? Like that's like they're Colin Simmons. Like any team can keep their 1 guy or their 2 guys. And so you're going to have to kind of battle against that. And then when it comes to the bigger names, there is no financial reason for a legitimate agent to take the first visit. Now, if it's predestined, like we see some of this fake stuff where guys are going to come into the portal and they're going to visit somewhere, but really Sorsby was going to Tech. So it's like there's those kind of things that go on. But what's the true value with the top tier? Some of them will do it, some of them don't. But why wouldn't you take your visits there?
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get leverage,
Right. So that's where I'm like, there's no reason for them to commit on the first visit with the top.
It's 3 days in. Frankly, the reaction is ridiculous. I'm not going to try to play the good guy. It's 3 days in.
I don't know. I think we could have done hopefully a little bit more, but we got to see. When does it close?
Like what positions could they have done more at?
Yeah,
running back, getting Isaac Brown.
Okay, how could they have done more? Kidnapped them? You want them to go like
closing on O-line, like
Cousin Eddie? You want them to go Cousin Eddie in Christmas Vacation? And
I would like some of it to lay down the law. It's tricky. I just don't want to outsmart ourselves with our sound roster construction, and then we miss the top end, And that's not for now. That's like waiting for a week. But I don't want to over intellectualize it, where it's just like a lot of these teams are not being that intellectual in their pursuit. So those are kind of the things that I'm curious about. I agree it's 3 days, but give me a little something, man. Give me a little.
But you just contradicted yourself. You said why wouldn't they take visits? Why wouldn't they take visits?
With Michigan O-line guy, that's a little. I'm talking about Cam Coleman is who I'm talking about. Like top 3 player portal, And Brown didn't take visits. Brown stayed home, and so it's like that's what I'm talking about. When you get into like the mid tier or whatever, then the rules are a little bit different. They can commit whenever.
They could have targeted easier offensive linemen to get. That's true. They could have. But they got 2 guys that Michigan is trying to keep. One they're really trying to keep.
Yeah.
Another one that Missouri is after. We know Missouri's history with offensive line and what they do in the run game. So, it seems to me like they're after the right guys. And if you are after the right guys, they're harder to get over the line. At least a lot of times.
There's no question there. Josh, to me, all in means you don't get stiff armed by guys you actually want. That's where I'm frustrated. Also, they seem to be big game hunting, and there's a lot of risk to that. I think that's some of the fear too, is that say, we're in a holding pattern now, right? Well, Baugh doesn't go in. Cam does commit elsewhere. Now you're in that. I think that's a little bit of the anxiety too, is like talking about it of like, hey, what if you do miss on these guys down the line? Then you're kind of left over in that mid tier and some of those guys have actually already gone. So I think that's what some of the anxiety is too.
And you look at a few years ago, they got Matthew Golden. Nobody thought he was going to be what he was, right? Like you can scout. There's other guys out there. I'm not saying I don't want Cam Coleman or I don't want any of the top names that's been mentioned. But if you do your homework and really scout these guys, like that's a lot of guys that can fit in your offense and do a lot of great things. You just never know. Like bring them in, coach them up, put them into your system, and let's see what they do. Like there's other guys out there. So if I don't miss on the great hype of whoever, like there's other guys out there that can do a lot of
running back, dude. Like a league average running back would make this team look 1,000 times better.
Yeah, that's where I would start losing my mind, like some of these fans, if they don't have good contingency plans, because then that shows incompetence.
Yeah,
right.
It shows a poor process, shows poor planning, shows poor scouting, and so that would be where I kind of lose it. Let's bring up this one. I like to address it. That's a good question or a good comment. That Mr. Go Texas Go.
Okay, let me see. I had Utah Horn pulled up. My thing with Eric.
Yeah.
My thing with Eric is he had this same sentiment last year that Sark knew what he was doing and told everyone to be patient, but then complained all season how we missed the mark in the offseason.
Yeah. Well, first, I said they should take running back last year like a million times. I said they should take offensive linemen like a million times too. I did have some questions about the offensive line going into last season, specifically left guard and right tackle. But they were a lot worse than I expected. I did give Sark too much benefit of the doubt. I couldn't believe that they would miss that. So, yeah, I was off. I was off on that, and I should be more skeptical. But here we know who the targets are. We can see who the targets are, who they're trying to get. The plan is pretty obviously good. The targets are good. There's another question to address. Somebody asked about linebacker. We should bring that up. But so here we can see the players that they're looking at. Last year, I had complaints about them not taking a running back or offensive line. Here, the running backs that they like to become available are damn good, and the offensive linemen they brought in early were damn good too. So we're getting a more encompassing approach on offense than we'd seen last year. Last year, they didn't take a running back, wide receiver, or an offensive lineman, and they should have taken at least one of each.
Yeah. Well, and some of the comments about running back were jarring. They're like, "Oh no, we're good." Like that was the part where it's
I would feel
different. Like, look, I get what fans are worried about. That right now, this is all theoretical talk, right? We're after big names, but the big name hasn't landed. The difference for this year to me is who they let go. So it's like they've made moves, right? Widener, Baxter, Moore, Livingston. It'd be different if everyone was kept and Texas was just saying, hey, guys, we're going to get this guy. So they've made actual plays that show action. So I get being wary of just talk, but.
Well, I see that to me should cause confidence. They've burned their bridges. They have to go get wide receiver. They have to go get 2 running backs, 1 running back at least. Better watch Christian Clark. They need to go get at least 1 running back and probably 2, or they need to elevate Christian Clark. And obviously they need offensive line. So it's actually good that they have those such obvious needs. This guy asked about what about linebacker? Well, they have two scholarship linebackers right now, not counting the guys coming in. And they told Leonga, take that deal. Did Leonga sign with BYU yet?
I don't know. I haven't seen him sign.
Yeah. Okay. Yet. So it's another burn the bridge moment where they've only got two linebackers. Now we're watching the kid from Cal, who would be an absolute stud. Look at Cal. Cal's got Tosh Lapoy coming in. He's known for basically one thing. I guess maybe he's a little bit known for defense now, but it's always been recruiting with him. So he's going to be all over Cade Uluave. And they're going after that Rutgers wide receiver, and that's not cheap. They're trying to get their talented quarterback at number 1. So maybe they've got a little bit more cash to throw around. But yeah, that's a guy to watch. And then there's still 3 guys that we're hoping will go into the portal that we've been tracking. And when I refresh Twitter, that's I'm looking for those guys. But you're right. This guy, anybody that's concerned about backup plans, I think they're right, because you always have some negativity about the void. What don't we know? But I know that they've got good targets at linebacker if they actually go in.
Yeah. Utah Horn, would Baker move to guard if we land the Michigan O-line duo?
Well, you just let them all compete and then shake it out. It's like who wins, and the guy that doesn't win kicks inside. I don't know if it'd be Baker. I don't know if it'd be the other guys. Baker was coming on pretty strong. Another year of strength and conditioning. He's probably got more upside than the guy, Andrew Sprague, that played right tackle from Michigan. And if that's the case, then it's a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that, Homer. You said that, last time, bringing guys in, just let them compete. Nobody's giving a spot. Whoever gets the spot, you're going to have to earn it. And I think that's how you make your best starting 22 on both sides.
Kinetic Skeptic, I'm sure you'll be delighted to know that YouTube says I was the single biggest watcher of IT YouTube videos in 2025. You're welcome, and keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. We appreciate that.
I see that the name Skeptic, and I'm thinking about the new player they got, Spedic. That name is throwing me all off. I see Septic, Skeptic.
It's been tricky. Fix the sound, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. Is there somebody's mic that sounds weird or something like that? I don't know. We're not hearing it on our end.
Turn up the treble, Marquise.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't. Just let me know what your issue is, because we don't see it.
Yeah, and if anybody else is having those issues, let us know.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Eric, you want to pull up your targets list?
No.
You don't want to. Come on, dude. Don't be vague, dude. You want to talk about who we actually got?
Bring that up. I don't care. We need to talk about running back, because that's pretty newsy. So that guy said we're vague. I don't think they really like any of the current running backs in the portal. That's where I think they can get a little picky, because set your floor. I'm always big on setting the floor, whether whenever it's early in a cycle or here we got a portal. Here we got a portal window. I'm big on setting the floor when you're taking multiple players.
Yeah. Caden Durham, fans are like, that's like a weird fan favorite. I hear about Caden Durham all the time.
Speed. He flashed as a freshman. Texas kid, Duncanville kid. These guys become all the rage.
Yeah. So we have that. Baylor's Bryson Washington, UConn's Cam Edwards, Washington's Adam Muhammad. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the next tier. And then it's really just wait on Baugh, right?
Yeah, see what's going on with Baugh. Caleb Hawkins signed with Oak State. Oak State's doing what they got to do when they bring in Eric Morris. Some people have talked about Raleek Brown at Arizona State. He's had a pretty quirky career. He might even go to the NFL. Texas recruited him out of high school, but I haven't heard anything there. Yeah, I just think they're kind of in wait-and-see mode at running back seeing what shakes out. More players are going to go in. What's his Mace or Mo's text asked about Hollywood Smothers from North Carolina State or Cam Cook at Jackson State. Cam Cook's been hearing from a lot of schools. He hasn't heard from Texas yet. It doesn't seem like they're on Smothers at this time. So they're going to have to get more aggressive at some point. They probably need to, like we said. They also need to, keep Christian Clark. And we'll see what shakes out. But yeah, right now, what I can report is there's not like a clear guy that they're going to go after or pivot to if Ball doesn't go in.
Cam Coleman. Texas visit was good. He definitely enjoyed himself, but he did go to
my readers will know what to read into that when it says he definitely enjoyed himself. Austin has Austin was good. So here's like you talked about, he's got a lot of leverage on his side. What we know is A&M doesn't want him at Texas. Texas Tech doesn't want him at A&M or Texas. Texas Tech reportedly spent $5 million on a very mid quarterback. It makes me wonder what Cam Coleman's really worth in their eyes. When you invest in a quarterback like that, you're probably going to invest in his number one receiver. But if he was just looking to get paid, he might have just stuck at Auburn. But maybe that one last opportunity with Auburn is why he's also looking at Alabama too, or he just wants to try to have the entire network. He's an Alabama kid. Yeah, we're just going to wait this out. The expectation when he left Texas was that he was going to take all of his visits, and so then after that, there's going to be he'll whittle it down to the schools he actually has interest in. His representation will go to those schools and say, "Hey, look, you're a finalist out of the finalists, and what's the offer? What's the final offer?" And then we'll see what Texas can do at that point.
What's worrying about Tech is that's the reason they lost, right? Their offense couldn't score anything.
Right.
So they're a little bit knee-jerk over there. Last year it was the defense. Now it's the off. So to me, I could easily see them finagling not just rev share, but whatever they can do behind the scenes, because their thought is, well, we might be a national championship team with an offense. So that's why I get worried about their motivation, where they're like, if we pay $1 billion for Cam Coleman and $1 billion for a quarterback, now
their defense is going to trail off too, because it's they're losing some guys there, and I don't think they're going to have the same value or the same money spent on that D line as they did this past year.
Yeah. All right, Kyle Parker, LSU, another one that gets mentioned quite often.
Look, go ahead. I can talk about Kyle. I know he just left Ole Miss. He's heading Kentucky next after that, Ohio State. Look, this one here. If Texas invites him for a visit, I think things like heat up a ton. He had a good relationship with Arch Manning. They've known each other for a while. Nussmeier and Arch Manning talk a lot. They talk about Kyle Parker, right? And so they kind of go back. There's some familiarity with even the dads, Cooper Manning and then Kyle's dad, Anthony. So from their high school days. So, man, if Texas invites him for a visit or whatever the case, that communication picks up, then I think things could change in this one. But until then, you got the other schools that Eric has listed up there.
Yeah, this is funny because Sugar Poppy Chulo says he doesn't want anyone named Parker back on his team. Apparently, doesn't want anybody from Lovejoy either. That's that's both guys with Parker in their name and both from Lovejoy. I would take Kyle Parker in a heartbeat. But there's always got Dalen McCutcheon, who speaking of Lovejoy.
I was gonna say
Dalen McCutcheon. He's ready to play too. So. I think they're just trying to tread lightly, figure out best. It seems to me that an outside receiver is the bigger need. Because you can do a lot of things at slot. You can still play. Obviously, McCutcheon has the lead there, but you can also play Emmett Mosley there. You can play Jamie French there. You can move Michael Terry back. I mean, there's just a lot they can do at slot. So it seems to me they need a bigger outside receiver that stretches the field. And if he's not a burner, Cam Coleman is twitchy, but I wouldn't call him a burner. I wish they would look at that dude from Rutgers, Ian Strong.
Yeah.
Maybe not a guy that separates necessarily with speed, but there's other ways to separate. You can separate above the ground too.
Correct. It's like I don't really care if you can contest and catch. I don't care who's standing next to you.
Exactly.
Out of all the teams in the Coleman hunt, when it makes Arch make the most sense from a quarterback perspective, yes, and also. From the Auburn side, they said they offered Cam Coleman like a top 5 rev share, if that's true, right? So if that's true, you're like, well, maybe it's not a money thing. And he just went through 2 years of what happens if you don't have a quarterback that can get you the ball consistently. So I am hoping Arch plays a bigger factor there, because Cam's going to the league either way. but those few draft slot difference can make a lot of difference financially too. But I hope that it's more of a holistic analysis. Of course, his agent is a smart guy, so yeah, it seems like quarterback matters here, or else why not stay at Auburn, get paid a great amount, and still not get the ball enough.
Yeah, like I said on IT a couple weeks ago, if he just doubles his vertical this offseason, it could work with him and Marcel Reed.
Yeah. Masunis, the tight end from Michigan State, big boy. I broke down his all 22. Really gonna be. It's very funny because he's a top 5 graded receiving tight end on PFF, but he doesn't have a ton of receptions. So it's just kind of whenever he gets the ball, but he's been really solid as that able to base block on duo, the stuff I've been asking for, which is funny because now we have Nick Townsend, who I think can do some of that. And so I was actually expecting him to go more pure receiver tight end, but now they're going blocker. So, and I think he's a guy that can catch. He's not very fast. I'll give you guys that, but he can kind of sit down and get it. But Masunis is a interesting tight end from Michigan State. And Eric's not sure if there are other competitors there. So,
well, Nick Townsend is really, really good in motion. And so, you could obviously play him in line. Masunis took almost every snap this season in line, barely ever went outside. Nick can do anything. And so I think they really do like that guy in motion. He's got some, George Kittle is not the biggest guy in the NFL. He's a damn good blocker. I think Townsend has some of that ability, whether he's in line or on the move. He's a really good blocker. And then you got that speed to go vertical that you would more often put in the slot than out of an inline prospect. But I hope it happens. That's one of those things that makes football a lot easier, that flies under the radar. But then all of a sudden you're running teams into the ground, especially if you can upgrade the offensive line. This run right here, if you can get Masunis, Sprague, and Guarana, I don't know.
Guarana, the Red Bull ingredient.
Hey, this is the weirdest list of names we've ever seen for Texas.
Yeah. So Sprague up next at offensive tackle. He didn't play versus us. He's a younger player. He's very tall. He's 6'8". Mm-hmm. Whenever you watch the Michigan offensive line, he's just towering over everybody. I think he was a right tackle for them. But it is funny because watching the Michigan all 22, I was like, man, this offensive line is better than ours, obviously, but just how they moved better on their counter power stuff. Michigan had a lot of problems. Offensive line coaching was not one of them. And so pulling guys from this school particularly are something that I think is smart to do. Coach, what do you think of Sprague?
I think the former head coach is the offensive line coach, right? So you knew they were going to get developed. I'm sure he's focused on a lot of time spent on the offensive line. But, because, 2 years ago, they were not that good, right? And so to go from where they were in 2024 when we played them to now when we look at them, they look a whole lot better, watching the film and just looking at them. So I think the development is there. I think you can bring them in. They can play right away. And they can compete for starting spots, which is what you want, essentially, anyway. That's what you need on the offensive line. You need guys that's going to come in and play and got some kind of culture, right? They're nasty. They're kind of mean, right? Because they got that attitude up there in Michigan. You got to run the ball, especially when it gets cold. And so you need guys like this. I don't mind us targeting these guys from Michigan whatsoever, but I like both of them just because you can tell they've been developed and they've worked at their game, getting a lot better from where they were in 2024 to where they are now. So once you see development from guys and you kind of see the light bulb go off, they actually get it and they're finishing blocks and they're, like you said, they're mean, they're nasty. I want those type of guys all day long. How many offensive linemen do we get from up north anyway, right? I like those old Viking type offensive linemen. They just mean nasty. They don't comb their beard out. I just want to go knock somebody off the ball. I like that type of offensive lineman.
Yeah, especially on the interior, you're looking for that. And then Jake Guarnera, kind of similar to Marinara.
Yeah, it's Ellis Island in this list. He's I think he started the year at Michigan down the depth chart. Played really well. And now is really in demand. Michigan's working hard to get him back. He's a right guard. Seamless transition from DJ Campbell to him if they can get him. But obviously there's competition. Michigan I think is the biggest threat. They've got money. Their offensive line coach is damn good.
They love to run the ball.
The mindset that Whittingham is bringing is very similar to the traditional Michigan mindset. And so we await. Hopefully they can get them. That run of 3 guys right there, Mastuna, Sprague, and Guarnera would delight me. And all those guys, well, I think both those offensive linemen have multiple years of eligibility too. So that would make up for some sort of questionable recruiting the last couple of years.
Yeah, because we're losing depth like crazy. Like Kibble, like I think Evan's done a good job reporting on like how much is left of the interior. Like this is gonna have to turn into a portal for probably multiple years now because our actual depth there from recruiting is like getting chipped away. It's also created this, the new era's created this weird, strange thing where players will go out and visit other schools and can still just turn around and go right back to their school. And I've noticed that a little bit too. I think that's strange because then you get the fan hate immediately, and then I've seen it switch right back to welcome back. It's weird. So, all right, before we hit the defense, though, I want you guys to hear a very quick word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Fast one.
Same day delivery powered by DoorDash.
Lightning fast, like the delivery. Guys.
Yeah, I like how you tell us too. Like you think we're like going to drop down and do push-ups for 10 seconds.
Well, half of you guys, I can see you guys in the commercials on my little screen, and half of you guys, as soon as we go to commercial, are just like,
well,
get your 30 seconds of texts in. So I don't want you guys to get caught. All right, Zion Williams. This is a name that I've heard about for a couple weeks, of course, and now he's officially in, which is cool. And, of course, Texas was in that battle. So if either one of you, the recruiting background on Zion, because we wanted him whenever he was coming out of high school.
Yeah, look, I love Big Zion. I loved him in high school, from Lufkin, East Texas. I guess a little biased there, but as Eric wrote, like they need another big, and he fits that mold. He fits that profile. Right? He's a big guy. Still has all 4 years left, right? She redshirted at LSU. I know we followed Bo Davis or whatever the case. Then Bo kind of left and went to the Saints. And so, look, you welcome him back into the fold because he's young. He has multiple years left, right? And you can kind of develop his body, get him right. But, man, you can't teach size, and that's exactly what he has. I thought watching him on film out of high school, I thought he had a quick first step for a big guy, too. So you can kind of keep some of that, add some strength, because he can kind of anchor in this new defensive scheme. Man, I think I like Zion a lot.
Yeah, that would give him 3 guys at that big. You've got Griffard, who's going to start, Josiah Sharma, who's going to play a lot, and then Williams. You can also play January there if you need to. Hero Canoe can pull it off just because Hero Canoe's a full-grown man.
Right.
But like as far as like the true big, don't do anything but clog gaps. They've got 3 of those guys, and you need them. You need to have them in the SEC where people try to run downhill on you.
Yeah, and Muschamp's potential mint front. And I've heard people get confused. I've heard people like, why are we getting DTs? We have January. We need noses, a specific type of DT. So it's like, yeah, we have a good amount of talented DTs. There's different positions within the defensive tackle room. So we're looking for, like they call them, big bigs. And Zion Williams is that. And you can let him bake a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Dante Simpson. I haven't even heard this name until I read this article. So Dante Simpson, Miami. What's going on there?
Yeah, he's supposed to come in for a visit. He played like 100 snaps for a good Miami team. Split between nose tackle, D tackle. I think they just like him long-term upside. Another young guy, true freshman. Same high school as Derek Cooper, so it feels like they probably ran the background check on him when they were talking about Cooper, and you're always investigating these guys. At least you should be, and you're going to build sources at these high schools, and you'll have some familiarity with a guy like Simpson. So he's it's a little surprising he's going in the portal. Miami doesn't typically lose guys they want to keep, but he's just another young body. Remember, they're trying to replace. They had 3 decommitments last year, pretty late, all in the fall, and so they're trying to make up for lost time on the D tackles. It's a good plan. It's what they should be doing on offensive line as well.
AJ, rewind like 5 minutes. We just talked about both of the Michigan offensive linemen just a few minutes ago. All right. Kenny Ozuwalu, UTSA, looking like OU. He visited OU?
Yeah, this is another guy where, he probably would not be on our radar if they hadn't hired Muschamp. Like, this would not be a guy that PK goes after in all likelihood. But because of that 4-eye fit, it's kind of a little bit different of a body type. You want to have sort of a blend between D tackle and defensive end size and length, and he has that. He's going to be about 6'4", 280, 285 probably once he's fully matured. Was pretty productive this year as a true freshman, another young guy. Would play a decent amount this year, I imagine, as a 4i, but also more of a developmental player.
Jaden Woods, man, one that I'm really excited for, but he's going to be a hell of a sweepstakes, right, man? Because he was a freshman at Florida last year. He was a designated pass rusher. He's very twitchy, but these positions at that talent level are incredibly rare to actually enter the portal. Most schools are able to hold on to those guys. So it's going to be a nationwide battle with Oregon and Ohio State. So not just the SEC going on here.
Yeah. I mean, it's pass rusher. Look at the teams that are after them. Even Missouri, you're thinking Missouri's, not somebody to worry about, but they signed Damon Wilson out of from Georgia last year, an edge. So yeah, it's going to be expensive, but I think Texas was the team that Florida was most worried about when he went in the portal, and we got to see how it plays out, man. They're going to just same thing with Cam Coleman. You go to all the schools, you check to see how you fit, and then you kind of whittle it down. Agent does the work for you, and you end up at one of these schools. We'll see. They want him. Why Jaden Woods? Drew asks. Isn't the room already stacked with Simmons, Jackson, Vosick, Rogbo, and Zena? Wesley too. A lot of those guys are more defensive ends. Jackson for sure, defensive end. Vosick could probably play either. Zena could probably play either, but those guys aren't done growing either. Right. They want a true pass rusher from that buck. And they play one real edge player in the Muschamp defense. And Rogbo is probably the only other clean fit outside of Simmons. Even Wesley's probably going to grow into defensive end. Wesley's young and already big. So they're looking for a guy that is like Simmons. And a lot of those guys are more defensive end. That they'd like to drop that player in the coverage. I saw Vosick doing it recently. It wasn't the prettiest thing I'd ever seen. So you're looking for a bit different of an athlete than you are on the defensive end, and Woodyard is exactly that. Simmons very explosive. I think the guy threw 180 feet at discus at 225 pounds or something.
I know nothing about discus, so I'm just like, hell yeah, dude.
That's just an extremely explosive athlete when you start doing something like that. Extremely explosive.
Yeah, I know nothing. Like, as soon as they start talking shot put and discus, you could tell me any number, and I'd be like, incredible.
You see the track meets, like every coach has their film out looking at them explode out, either shot put or discus, man. It translates.
Yeah, I get the value. I just don't know, like if you say 10-2, I'm like, oh yeah, but I don't know what number it becomes. Wow, with that stuff. Is 4i shading outside shoulder on the guard? He's shading inside shoulder on the tackle, technically. But yes, he's very close to that. But yes, just not outside of the tackle. He's inside of the tackle with a 4i. But they have to be bigger because of that to hold up. So when you hear 4i, just think like a bigger, stronger defensive end than you would see on an outside rusher. All right. Woodyard, you think it's going to be Miami?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think it's going to be Miami. Good player. Like I said, you gotta see who else goes in. Didn't we talk about Ulavi earlier?
Yeah,
just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so we got it's just I think Woodyard, they like Woodyard. And I think at one point he was probably their top guy. We had heard that he was likely to go in. I'm pretty sure Texas knew he was likely to go in. And at that time, I think he was probably their top guy. But since then, I think they've got wind of some others. Perhaps even Uluwave is ahead of him. Uluwave, I guess, you got to worry about Tosh. Obviously, we talked about that. See what else comes out. Some of these guys are really quiet, really private. Not a lot of information out on him right now. We just know that Texas likes him quite a bit. I do think he's going to visit.
Yeah, it does make me nervous when I'm looking at the other schools, right? There's a clear kind of bias here for
the poly bias.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's also, it's just like the Western U.S. bias here, kind of. But man, watching his tape, that dude can pass rush. He likes to hit. I mean, this is a really fun player.
Doesn't it seem like it could be like, and I'm not trying to go with the poly theme here, but maybe a little bit. Henry To'oTo'o came from Tennessee. Oh wait, he was already at Tennessee, right? From Tennessee to Alabama. But I could see Uluwave wanting to go play in the SEC. Doesn't it seem like a SEC sort of maniac?
Oh yeah, he's a psycho, man, and like in all the best ways. I turned on his tape, and the fans love him, man. Like they're devastated if he leaves, which is good, right? You always want the player that fans are devastated.
California got a good farm system over there. It seems like they do a good job of finding players and develop them, and then everybody just kind of plucks them away.
Yeah, but he does a lot for that team, and he has really good closing speed, so he would be really really solid to grab. Bo Masco, of course, the Rutgers tie to Orfe.
Yep.
Is he a big guy? I don't know his stats. Is he like a 6'2" guy or something? Do we
No,
know?
he's like 5'11".
Okay, so he's actually.
I'm sure he's got long arms. That seems to be like the first thing Orfe looks for. But he's a good cover guy.
Yeah.
People get. I know everybody gets hyped up about length, but you got to cover. Yeah. He's a good player. Now it's just, is it the biggest need? Maybe not. But I guess you can never have too many guys that can cover in this day and age.
Someone's making fun of the Cheez-It Bowl. Sir, that's one of the most prestigious of the snack bowls out there. How dare you? And Sark looks so confused in the postgame. They're just putting like Cheez-It crowns on him. And like Sark's not from the generation. He doesn't get that it's supposed to be just like silly and over the top. So Sark just looked like in a fugue state throughout the whole postgame, which I thought was hilarious. I really like it. Red Raiders going to win the Natty in 2026. Hey, bet on it, brother. Bet on it, brother.
Sure.
Length is cool, but I'll take Jahdae Barron. Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Come on, that's different.
Yeah, I'll do that. Edwin Joseph, Florida State.
I'm not sure how hard they're going here. Ian says that he thinks he could play nickel, so that's intriguing. But yeah, I mean, he's got another list of schools, pretty good list of schools there. Clemson on there, they're losing people. I think other schools might have a bigger need for him than Texas. They're getting Wardell Mack back. So nickel is looking like it's well stocked. You could always play Grayson Littleton there.
That's a big.
There's just a lot of stuff that Texas can do. There's a lot of bodies in the secondary. Maybe people would feel better with a little bit more experience at safety, but I mean Xavier Filsaime with the year under Muschamp, Blake Gideon's back, so everybody's hyped up about that. And so I don't know that they need a whole lot of bodies in the secondary one. But I do like the fact that Joseph is versatile. So if you are going to take somebody, hopefully he does have that.
Yeah,
well, that's
I like Joseph. I like Joseph from a mentality standpoint. Like he's like a tone setter. I feel like he'll get everybody fired up. He has that kind of passion and fire about him. Like he might fight a teammate, he might fight a coach, right? Like he just has that type of passion with him. But something Eric just said, kind of getting a chance to see the team up close and personal in Orlando. Like you don't understand how somebody big these DBs actually are on the Texas team. Like they got some bodies. They kind of starting to fill out your Wardell Mack, K. Phillips, Grayson Littleton. It's like they're not small kids, right? And so you got a lot of bodies in that room, the corner room and safety room, that are starting to fill out that look like, minor NFL illustrations, right? So another offseason, like these guys are going to be ready. So just looking at the team, and it may not be a need because a lot of these guys are starting to fill out, and you see the play on the field kind of getting better and better as they go.
Yeah, getting Mack back at nickel solved that piece because then you're moving all those things around. So I thought that was really big. The secondary is actually one of the most I'm excited for, and Eric mentioned it. Muschamp and Gideon, the coaching factor here has been upgraded significantly, to put it lightly. So these guys should be much more sound. So I'm really excited for that room. There's a lot of young talent there that I think is NFL talent.
Man, I'm just enjoying this Tech fan not having any clue what they just paid $5 million for.
Yep.
This guy should go watch his high school film and ask yourself, how much can a human actually improve?
Just philosophical questions.
Yeah, because you'll see that there's going to be a ceiling there that you don't know exists, and you guys just paid $5 million for it.
Yep. Well, you got to score in the playoffs, baby. Any word on Nicholls coach Nansen being retained? Stat.
I haven't heard anything about Nansen not being retained. That Muschamp's got to be wondering what's this guy doing recruiting. What's his plan? Nickelback coach. I'll tell you what's weird. It's T-Rob is kind of non-committal about what he's up to. To some of the people I know that know him. I don't know T-Rob, never talked to him, but I do know people that do know him, and it seems like there might be something still in play there, but I don't know. I'm certainly not reporting anything. It seems like they're going to add somebody. Kenoto Hudson was a pretty popular figure and a good coach, so I think they do have a plan to replace him. You don't just get rid of a guy just to get rid of a guy. But I'm not exactly sure. Muschamp was just in a bad mood. I don't know. That might be a good plan. Cathartic. But I think they are going to replace them. I just don't know who. And it is kind of curious that T-Rob is a little bit more non-committal to people that we know. at the same time, is T-Rob going to leave Georgia to just come coach Nichols? That's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Unless you give him some fancy credential. Jaffrard, however the fancy name is said. We did a whole video, me and Charlie, on him. Big boy.
Yeah.
Played too many snaps at Arkansas, could get a little winded. He'll be good in a rotation. Put him at 30 snaps, plug a gap, that kind of thing. Not like some crazy pass rush or anything like that. A do your job, whiteboard punch type of player for Muschamp there at the nose spot.
Yeah, I like him, and you know what?
Make life for a linebacker, right? That should be a selling point for any linebackers they're trying to get.
Yep. You just have to, especially in the Muschamp defense. Spedic, also known as Memphis kicker.
Yeah.
I think he was like 75% complete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's all right. But that's all I can give you for kicker analysis. I haven't seen his leg or anything like that. Eric, you know more on his skill set?
Not really. He's got a pretty strong leg. He's a kicker. Hopefully his medals are there.
That's
half the game. I mean, goodness gracious, who watched that NFL game last night?
Oh man,
Pittsburgh guy misses an extra point that he hadn't missed in like 4 years, and then the other guy misses a field goal that he'd been drilling all year that would have won it for the Ravens. So it's just a mental game, man.
Yeah. All right. Mac Chuimento, punter, Florida State. Also need to check him out. I admittedly have not done my research on the specialist end yet. And then
13 of 28, 13 to 21 punts inside the 20, I think. It was a good number, whatever it was. And then a 4.16 hang time. Not the biggest leg as far as distance goes, but it hangs up there. Not a lot of return yards allowed. That's really the name of the game, right? You'll suffer a little bit shorter punts if there's no returns.
Yeah,
it's pretty clear trade-off. So, I would think that quality is about in line with what they had this year. Should be good.
Yeah, he got a lot of reps at Florida State. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
so he's really good.
But you want directional, skilled punting over just I can kick it over those mountains.
Yeah.
All right, help me out with this one. Is there like some silent C going here, and I'm going to say it unfancily, or is it just Dubuck? I didn't know if there's debut or something like that, but long snapper. I can tell you guys a lot about the position. The big key is get it right into the hands of the guy you're snapping it to. It's absolutely a crucial factor. So good breakdown there on the long snapper from me. I'm really excited to have him. This is a guy that I had an eye on all year. And to hear that was the moonshot, by the way.
Joe talked to a specialist that is familiar with the kid, which is hilarious to me. And that guy said the kid could spin it. like he's a quarterback. Oh man, upside down. He's an upside down quarterback. He can spin it, man.
It's I need to get a little better on my long snapper stuff. Man, that's the dream though, dude. Like if you can't even get touched on special teams like by rule. You can just snap it. You can just make hundreds of thousands of dollars in the NFL. Really low pressure as long as you don't lose a game. It's like that's one of the nicest backup quarterback and then long snapper. Some really elite positions of hangout positions get paid a lot. All right. So these are the names. And now it's just a fun waiting game. Do you think there ends up being a middle ground, Eric, where like it goes more dead in the middle and closes harder at the end? I know you're not psychic, but my point is if you don't decide now, are you more likely just to decide at the end? Do you even know how that would work?
Well, I just think I think the whole thing's gonna play out. A lot of people are like, hey, the portal's over on the 16th. The portal, that's the last day you can enter. But there's gonna be visits. We're gonna be covering portal well into January.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of twists and turns ahead of us, some good, some bad. I named the moderator thread Jubilation and Agony because it was going to be both. I knew it was going to be both at the time. And they're going to they got to keep scouting. They've got to keep, they've got to keep working every angle they can think of. And they've got to make sure that they have contingencies for contingencies. That's what I care most about because these names are going to change. They're not going to get all these guys. They're going to have to And I think Texas, it's kind of, it reminds me again like July is where, all right, Texas, you got the first offer from Texas. That's not the final offer from Texas. There's a cap on how far they'll go. But there's still a lot of negotiations to take place. It's just barely beginning.
And Texas seems to do that where they'll offer whatever and then try to get a Chris Henry at the end, right? Like they'll say if they got money that's just sitting there that hasn't been used, now they didn't get Chris Henry, but it's the effort, right? Like they'll come back with some real deals at the end too, but they tend to play it rather close to the vest in the earlier stages. To the fans, horrific dismay, but
yeah, normally when they got to make something happen, they make something happen. The problem with last year is they didn't feel like they had to make something happen at running back, O-line, wide receiver. They did get Emmett Mosley, but the goal was to go a little bit bigger than that, and it didn't shake out. So that last year was more of the plan was bad. It wasn't, the execution wasn't the problem because there wasn't the plan in place to execute. Now the plan is good. They just got to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grind long snapper film. That's what I'll do. Eric doesn't know that in between the videos, that's all I'm doing is grinding long snapper film. He'd be pretty upset to find out, but I'm kind of the world's foremost expert on that. And I was Joe's source whenever
you were Joe's source.
After that kid can spin it, man. It's he's real fast. All right. Any final things, man? Do you guys want to chat about? I know you guys are a little beat down, working the phones and all the fan dismay, but any other thoughts, or even Michigan, man, winning that game, any stuff like that, gentlemen, that you just can't wait to get out?
No, I mean, I want to see the commenters still dunking on this Tech guy.
I gotta admit, Tech is getting annoying because they're getting enough guys to be annoying.
And they're doing it again, yeah.
That's a factor. And like I said, I'm not ruling them out from doing something absolutely insane for Cam Coleman because
the most annoying part is they can just be a paper tiger all year round, thump their chest in the Big 12, and then get handled. Yeah. They get handled for one day out of the year, then they're right back to buying players and talking about next year where they go be a paper tiger again.
Yeah, it's actually a really smart. It's like it's the Dallas Cowboys model.
It is.
And, there's really only one day you can truly talk trash about them. It's the day they lose, and they're not going to really lose unless they play anybody real.
I mean, they're going to be right back in it unless they do something ridiculous. That schedule next year is a joke. So that's the marketing-wise, what they're doing over there is really good for a fan base. Thank you, Papi Chulo.
Does the road still run through Lubbock? I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see if Joey comes back out and says anything like that. I don't know, man. Cody Campbell's all on Twitter. Like they're all pumped up, ready to go, for another year of buying whatever it takes to get back into the playoffs. So I guess it's cool to see, right? I guess you got belief in your program, but man,
it's just a weird dichotomy to me to see such a smart businessman set his money on fire. Like that, that quarterback for $5. I want to almost believe that it's not $5 million, but if it is, all right.
Well, I mean, he sets his money on fire, but it's like money's not even real to him at that level. Like he could spend $20 million on a football team.
Well, it's opportunity cost. It's opportunity cost because they could have got another quarterback that's better than Sorsby for $5 million.
True. Yeah.
Well, and Sorsby I was hearing Sorsby to Tech way before he was in the portal, so that was kind of a thing that was known about. All right, guys. We're going to keep locking in on Portal throughout the week. We'll drop videos whenever we get something, but really the truth, you guys need to go over to InsideTexas.com. 50% off right now, Transfer Portal, Ultimate Fan Bundle, Inside Texas, On3, and Rivals. That's where you'll actually get the up-to-minute updates and all of that stuff because we only see you at our allotted time unless we do some type of breaking news stuff. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's go get Cam Coleman. I'm announcing it. That'll definitely happen today, everybody. So be very excited about that. This was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't clip that. That's not real. Have a good day, everyone. Goodbye.